this week, you will be using all of the information that you have created in the past 3 weeks to prepare an assessment activity called a Performance Assessment Task, PAT. Yes, Pat. It's all about me this week. You've probably noticed the tab on the top called My PATs when you are working in WIDS. If you haven't, no worries. You soon will. We will use that to create a performance assessment task for the competency or competencies you have written for this class. Note, it is critical that these are written well. When I say these, I mean the competencies, learning objectives, and performance standards. Since if not, you will have to go back and make changes. I know the first time I added criteria to a competency, I was not really thinking of it from an assessment standpoint, so it required our team to do a lot of rework. Remember, this is all about performance-based learning. So the performance assessment task is an assessment that allows students to demonstrate competency of an outcome, which can be an exit outcome or a course outcome, which, as you remember, we call competencies if it's a course outcome. As with any rubric or scoring guide, it allows you, as the instructor, to collect evidence of student learning. So, why should we write a performance assessment task? Well, let's check it out. It will provide students with a clear picture of what the end result should look like, which in turn should allow learners to produce a quality product. Within the software, you will be able to create either a simple checklist, which is like the one here, a simple rubric, or a complex rubric. For this class, I would suggest keeping it simple, but if you feel adventurous, go for the complex rubric. What you see on this slide is a simple checklist that a learner could use when they are washing their hands for a medical procedure. The criteria was taken directly from the performance standards of the competency, Perform Medical Hand Washing. For this, the learner would have to complete all steps in order to demonstrate completion in their competency. Okay, let's look at the competency, Write Your Name. In order to have the student know what is expected, what are some criteria that could be used to assess whether they did it correctly or not? Go ahead and pause this video right now and write down 4 criteria that you believe would be critical for the student to know when they are completing or working on the competency, Write Your Name. Did you get any of these? See how helpful this is for a student? They know exactly what they need to do, and if they are unclear, they can just ask the instructor. So this is an example of a simple rubric. Note the difference between the checklist. It has that rating scale up on the top with definitions. It still includes the criteria from the competency, but I did want to have you note, at Western we prefer that you start your criteria with you. So instead of record is accurate and complete, you would have you create a record which is accurate and complete. So instead of starting as a record, you would say record, you create a record which is accurate and complete. This is an example of a complex rubric, which I am sure many of you have used before. The criteria are given definition by added descriptor criteria. So if you look at that, here's the criteria. Introduction includes a clearly stated thesis, and then they have somewhat effective, effective, highly effective, which are your 1, 2, and 3, and they have the descriptions put in there. Think how helpful this could be for you. For example, If you created a complex rubric for a discussion board in one class, you would be able to utilize that in any course you target. Check what Deb does in this week's video, how to add PATs in WIDS. So, let's recap. Why should you use a performance assessment task? First and foremost, it will raise the quality of work your learners produce. Second, it will provide you with the data to help you improve your teaching. If a group of learners do poorly on an assessment, what could this be telling you? And finally, it provides you with guidelines for evaluation and grading so you can be consistent with each student. I hope this helps, and please do not be afraid to ask questions if you become confused. Just remember, it's all about Pat this week.